In this video, you'll learn how to add offline, cross-platform, multilingual speech recognition powered by OpenAI Whisper to your project using the Runtime Speech Recognizer and Runtime Audio Importer plugins. For this tutorial, I'm using Unreal Engine 5.7, the latest version available at the time of recording. However, you can follow along with any version starting from UE 4.27, since the plugin supports all versions from 4.27 onward. Before we begin, make sure both the Runtime Speech Recognizer and Runtime Audio Importer plugins are enabled in your project. The first step is downloading a speech recognition language model. Open Project Settings, navigate to the Plugins section, and open the Runtime Speech Recognizer tab. The default language model settings should be suitable in most cases. You can choose a smaller model for better performance and optimization, or a larger one for more accurate recognition. If you'd like to use a different model than the ones provided, select Custom and supply your own download link below. Once you're ready, click Set up Language Model. At this point, you have a working local speech recognition model inside your project. Next, I'll show you 3 examples that demonstrate common workflows. For testing purposes, I'll be using the level blueprint, but you can apply the same nodes in any blueprint in your project. You can find all the required nodes in the plugin documentation. The link is in the description. Open the Runtime Speech Recognizer documentation and navigate to the How to Use the Plugin section. The first example we'll try is Basic Streaming Recognition. It records speech for about 5 seconds and then processes the recognition result, which is a good fit for quick testing. Copy the nodes into your blueprint. You'll notice a few missing variables. Create them automatically by right-clicking on them and selecting the Create Variable option. If audio capture doesn't work, for example when using a virtual microphone, locate the Start Capture node and change the device ID to -1, so the plugin uses the system's default microphone instead. Let's test it.
I'm talking into the microphone now. Checking.
The second example is Controlled Streaming Recognition. Basic streaming uses a fixed recording window, but if you need finer control over when recognition starts and stops, this approach gives you direct access to the audio capture and recognition process. Copy the nodes into your blueprint. Create the variables if you haven't already. With this example, you can implement your own logic for when recognition should start and stop. Let's make recognition activate while a key is being held down. Create a Begin Play event. Connect it to the Initialize Recognition event. Then create a Keyboard Input event and connect the pressed and release states to the Start and Stop recognition events respectively. Let's check the result.
I press the button, checking. Now I released it. Checking. Now I pressed it again.
The last example I'll show you is voice-activated command recognition. It combines streaming recognition with voice activity detection to automatically process speech when the user stops talking. Copy the nodes into your blueprint. Create the variables if you haven't already. Create a Begin Play event. Connect it to the Initialize Recognition and Start Recognition nodes. Press play.
It only starts recognition after I finish speaking. Checking. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them.
If your microphone is noisy and recognition starts or stops incorrectly, switch the voice activity detection mode to a more aggressive setting. But what if you can't predict the quality or configuration of the end user's microphone, and the environment may contain heavy background noise, like an interactive kiosk in a public space or a busy showroom? In that case, you'll want to use Silero VAD, available as a free extension for Runtime Audio Importer. If the built-in voice activity detection already works well for your use case, you can skip this section. Open the Runtime Audio Importer documentation and find the Voice Activity Detection tab. Silero VAD is a neural network-based voice activity detector that provides better accuracy in noisy environments. It uses machine learning to distinguish speech from background noise. Keep in mind that this extension requires your project to be C++ based. If you only have experience with blueprints, feel free to message me on Discord. We'll help you compile the plugin for your engine version and platform. Extract the downloaded archive into the plugins folder in your project's root directory. Then, build the project with the plugin, for example, through your IDE. If you've already received a pre-built version of the plugin from us, simply place it into the plugins folder. No build step required. After that, enable the plugin inside the editor. Now let's return to the blueprint. Instead of Set VAD mode, use the Set VAD Provider function. Select Silero Voice Activity Detection as the provider. You now have voice-activated speech recognition that works reliably in noisy environments. The plugin also includes a demo level so you can explore the workflow with a simple UI. Open the Content browser, go to the Engine folder, then Plugins, locate the Runtime Speech Recognizer plugin, and open the Demo folder. If you don't see it, open the Content browser settings and enable both Show Engine Content and Show Plugin Content. Inside the Widgets folder, you can customize the UI however you like. Open the level and press play to try it out. Let's see how it works.
Initialize baseline. Start. Stop. Open logs. Connected. Run diagnostics. Compiled. Check system latency and compare with previous baseline results. Linked. Analyze microphone input stability under variable noise conditions. Run. Setup. Baseline confirmed.
If you run into any issues or have questions, feel free to reach out on Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching. Enjoy working with Georgie Dev plugins.